Hello? Hello? Come on, Peach. Let's do this. Alright. Chapter 3. Hold on, let me get Chapter 3. The War That Saved My Life. In the wee hours of Friday morning, I stole Mom's shoes. I had no idea they were the only shoes in the flat, other than Jamie's canvas shoes, which were too small, even for my bad foot. Mom's shoes were too big, but I stuffed the toes with paper. I wrapped a rag around my bad foot. I tied the laces tight. The shoes felt strange, but I thought they would probably stay on. Jamie looked at me amazed. I got to take them, I whispered. Otherwise people will see my foot. He said, "You're standing, you're walking." My big moment, and now I hardly care. There was too much ahead of me. "Yes," I said, "I am." I glanced at Mom, who laid on the bed, snoring her back to us. Proud of me? Not bloodily likely. I slid down the stairs on my bottom. At the end of them, Jamie helped me up, and we set out together into the silent early morning streets. One step, I thought, one step at a time. It was interesting to be at ground level. The light was pink, and a faint blue haze seemed to rise off the building, so everything seemed prettier than it did later in the day. A cat streaked around the corner, chasing something, probably a rat. Other than the cat, the street was empty. I held Jamie's hand on my right side for support. In my left, I had a paper bag with food in it. For breakfast, Jamie said we were supposed to be at his school at 9 o'clock in the morning, hours ahead, but I figured the earlier we got away, the better. I didn't know how long it would take me to get to the school. I didn't want people to stare. The street was bumpy, which I haven't realized from my window. Walking was harder than in our flat. The shoe helped, but by the time I made it to the end of the lane, my foot hurt so badly I didn't think I could take it in a single step further, but I did. "Turn here," Jamie whispered. "It's not far." Another step and my bad foot twist. I fell, gasping. Jamie knelt beside me. "You can crawl," he said. "Nobody's watching." "How much farther?" I asked him. 3 blocks, he said. Blocks is the buildings in between the streets. We got across 3 more streets. I measured the distance with my eyes. 3 streets. Miles will have been 3 miles. 300 miles. "Suppose I crawl a bit," I said. But crawling on the street was a lot harder than crawling in our flat. My knees were calloused, of course, but the stones hurt and the trash and mud wasn't pleasant either. After a block, I took Jamie's hand and held myself upright. "How come you don't walk when you can?" Jamie asked. "It's new," I said. "I learned it this summer while you were out." He nodded. "I won't tell," he said. "It doesn't matter," I said. Already the world seemed huge to me. If I looked up the tops of the buildings, I felt dizzy. "We're going to the country. Nobody minds if I walk there." Of course, that was a lie. I didn't know anything about where we were going. I didn't even really know what the word country meant. But Jamie gripped my hand tighter and smiled. The school was a brick building with an empty yard, surrounded by a metal fence. We made it inside, and I collapsed. We ate bread dipped in sugar. It was good. "Did you take Mom's sugar?" Jamie asked wide-eyed. "I not all of it," I said. We laughed out loud. The air was chilly now that we weren't moving, and the ground felt damp. The roar of pain in my ankles subsided in a deep drawing ache. I looked up at all the unfamiliar buildings, the scrolls and fancy brickwork, the shingles, the window frames, the birds. I didn't notice a woman walking across the yard until Jamie poked at me. She smiled at us. "You're here early," she said. "One of the teachers, I suppose." I nodded and gave her a big smile in return. "Our dad dropped us off before he had to go to work," I said. "You'll take good care of us." The woman nodded, "And so I will." She said, "Would you like some tea?" When we got up, of course, she noticed my limp. Nothing. I was staggering, lucky to have Jamie to catch me. "You poor thing," she said. "What's wrong?" "I heard it," I said, "just this morning," which was true enough. "Will you let me look at it?" she asked. "Oh, no," I said, forcing myself to keep moving. "It's getting better already." After that, it was easy. It was the most impossible thing I ever done, but it was also easy. I held on to Jamie. I kept moving forward. The yard filled with children and teachers. The teacher organized us in lines. I wouldn't be able to walk in the half-mile into the train station. I was mostly done in, but suddenly in front of me was a face I recognized. "That's you, Ada? Stephen White?" He was the oldest of the White children. There were 3 girls between Stephen and Billy. The whole bunch of them had pulled me up and stared at me. They never seen me other than my window. "It's me," I said. Stephen looked surprised. "I didn't think you'd be coming," he said. "I mean, of course you gotta be get along London, but our mom said they have special places for people like you." "My mom hasn't said anything about special places." "What do you mean, people like me?" Stephen looked around. He was taller than me, older, I figured, but not by much. "You know," he said. "I know." "Crippled," I said. He looked back at my face, startled. "No," he said. "Simple. Not right in the head. That's what everybody says," he said. "I didn't know you could talk." I thought of all the time I spent at my window. I said, "Talk to you all the time." "I know," you wave and jibber jabber, but he looked pretty uncomfortable now. "We can't ever really hear you down on the street. We can't make out what you're saying. I didn't know you could talk normal. And your mom said as how you gotta be kept locked up for your own good." For the first time, he looked at my feet. "You're a cripple?" I nodded. "How do you get here?" "Walked," I said. "I couldn't let Jamie go alone." "Was it hard?" he asked. I said, "Yes." An odd expression passed over his face. "One, I didn't understand at all. Everyone feels sorry for your mom," he said. There was nothing I could say to that, Stephen said. "She knows you're gone." I would have lied, but Jamie piped up. "No," she said. "Ada was going to get bombed." Stephen nodded. "Don't worry about walking to the station," he said. "I'll give you a ride." I didn't know what he meant, but one of his little sisters smiled and said, "He gives me rides," she said. I smiled back. She reminded me of Jamie. "Okay, then," I said. So Stephen White piggybacked me back to the station. The teacher had given me tea, thanked him for helping. We marched down a long line. And the teachers made us sing, "There'll always be in England." Finally got to the station, which was overflowing with more children than I knew existed in the world. Can you get onto the train all right?" Stephen asked, set me down. I grabbed Jamie's shoulder. "Of course I can." Stephen nodded. He started to herd Billy and his sister into a group. But then he turned back to me. "How come she keeps you locked up if you're not simple?" "Because of my foot," I said. He shook his head. "That's crazy," he said. "It's because of whatever I did to make my foot like that." He shook his head. "That's crazy." I stared at him. "Crazy?" The teacher started yelling, and then we all climbed onto the train. Before the noon church bells rang. The train began to move. We escaped. "Mom, Hitler bombs my one-room prison. Everything crazy or not, I was free."